Guys, and welcome back to Cherry Blossom Corner. Today we're playing more Drops of Death. So we have done everyone's route except FAWN. Now, FAWN, I've had her as the killer twice. So it's just, I've had her as the killer twice. I've had Nick as the killer once. I haven't had Natasha or Edwin as the killer yet. So hopefully I can get something a little different because we're doing FAWN's route. But to be fair, it is randomly generated. I'm like, I really want to see them as the killer. I don't know. Alright, let's do this. Pick for me. Let's see who we get. I haven't dated anyone while they've been the killer, which is crazy luck. Okay, let's skip this and let's run.
Help me! Oh.
And we're skipping the intro because we've been there, done that. What are the chances it's gonna be FAWN again?
Sure you couldn't see.
No.
Tell the truth.
No. Thank you.
Someone trying to kill me.
No.
What happens now? Vlog.
Bye. Hey there. Looks
Questioning.
No.
It's dangerous.
Thank you. Huh?
They meet with Edwin.
Yeah, huh? What I thank you. Oh. Hello?
New leads.
Thank you.
Okay, day 2, Tuesday.
Hey! Thank you. Hello? Huh? I can't. You'll be the first to know.
Okay, walk home
you.
with
No.
FAWN. Oh, wait, oh crap.
Hey.
I don't remember if I've read that part or not.
Hey!
I probably have.
You're-
Contact FAWN.
Sorry about that.
Okay, nothing seems to change at this point. Let's give the same answers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Day 3, Wednesday. Okay, I think this is where it's gonna branch. Oh yeah, they take him. Go on.
No. Yeah.
Stay and wait here.
Oh.
A friend.
Hey there.
Okay. Here's something where I'm done. Okay. Let's head out with FAWN.
Talk to you later. Yeah.
Sure, let's go. FAWN sets a relaxed pace down the sidewalk as she heads away from the police station. I follow, shoving my hands into my pockets to keep them warm. Despite the cold winter air, it's nice to take a leisurely walk like this. So, where are we going? I thought we'd head back to my apartment. You can see what I'm working on, and I can tell you about some of my other projects. Sounds good to me. So, this is your apartment. FAWN's apartment is unlike anything I've seen before. On one hand, it's a warm, cozy apartment with colorful furniture and an appealing aesthetic that makes me feel like I've come home. The smell of freshly baked cookies fills the air. On the other hand, it also looks like a conspiracy theorist's hideout. Bulletin boards cover an entire wall with newspaper clippings, photographs, and handwritten notes pinned to them and connected to one another with strings. In front of the wall in question is a large desk where Fawn's computer is set up. She leads me over there.
This is where I do my blogging, as you might have guessed. Of course, if I'm pressed for time, I'll blog from work or even my phone. But I prefer to use my own setup whenever possible.
Is a custom setup that important for blogging?
It is when you're blogging about true crime and cold cases.
She waves her hand at the bulletin
I
boards.
keep all my research material here in close view of the computer, so I can easily look at the connections I've made and any relevant details while I'm writing up the newest post.
I see.
This is a lot to take in all at once. One of these cases should look pretty familiar to you. What? I look up at the bulletin boards. Most of the incidents covered here are long forgotten cases from years ago, some even decades old. But the newspaper clippings on one look much more recent. 4 killed at University Pool. Killer of 4 continues to elude police. Cold case, people fret about the police's silence. This is about my case? I thought you didn't blog about anything current. Oh, don't worry about that. She waves her hand in a placating gesture with a bright smile. I don't blog about your case. It's just that bulletin board system works so well for me. I thought the best approach would be to tackle your case like I would any other to see what connections I might find.
What are you talking about?
But are you even involved in my case? I thought Detective Singh was looking into it. Sure, I'm not officially on the case, but no one says I can't work on it in my free time. I'd imagine you have other things you'd rather do in your free
Nah.
time. Nope, not at all. When I see a case stump even Nick, that rouses my curiosity. I figured I'd poke around it myself and see if there's anything I can piece together. Who knows, I might find the missing piece Nick needs. He'll grumble about it, of course, but he won't turn down the help. While she talks, I scan the bulletin board. A photograph of Edwin's knife is linked to a description of the fraternity and then to its various members. My own description of the attacker has been written on a pinned note along with Fawn's thought about the clothing I described. My picture is on one corner of the bulletin board as well as Natasha's, with notes alongside our names and strings connecting us to various parts of the case. I really put a lot of work into this. I scanned the other bulletin boards despite all using the same system. They're quite varied. One almost has no connections at all, with hardly any string tying one note to another, while another has so many strings connecting each piece to the next that I can barely read the papers underneath. Curious? Fawn sits on the edge of her desk. Normally I'd direct you to my blog to learn my insights, but since you're right here, I can tell you about whatever interests you. Ask about my own case. Well, to be honest, the only case that's really on my mind right now is my own. Do you have any leads at all? Besides what you've already heard about from Nick, you mean? Yeah.
This is just a theory, but
I can't reveal the killer for you if that's your hope, but I definitely noticed some interesting things while assembling the information about your case. Oh yeah? I lean forward. For example, the motive is still a bit clouded, which is why Nick is having so much trouble narrowing down the suspects. Is that unusual? This case has some odd aspects that lead to confusion over the motives. The biggest one is that we still aren't sure who the intended target was. The culprit killed a young man in the locker room, then 3 young women in the pool, and then attempted to kill you as well. The first victim wasn't connected to you or the 3 swimmers, and you aren't connected to the swimmers either. That gives us 3 distinct groups of potential targets, with the others being incidental. That makes it tricky. The motives we'd explore if you were the target are much different than the motives we'd explore if the swimmers were the primary targets. Isn't it possible the culprit just wanted to kill people without caring who they were?
theoretically,
Another possibility, although that sort of thing is rare, this doesn't seem like the work of a random spree killer either. But you see, it also fundamentally changes how we approach the case. If you're the intended target, you're in imminent danger and the culprit might be someone close to you. If the swimmers or the guy in the locker room were the primary targets, you're unlikely to be targeted unless the culprit sees you as a loose end. It muddies the water, makes it harder to pin down the truth. She waves her hand at the bulletin board. That's why I've been tracking everything here. All possible suspects and their motives and how they're connected to the victims, etc. Whenever something happens, I see what it connects to.
this is just a theory, but
Eventually, some of these connections should start clustering and show us a pattern. Looks like a chaotic mess to me. From that chaos, beauty is born. Anyway, Nick doesn't mind me checking over the case files and asking how things are going with suspects and potential witnesses, so I have enough info that I should be able to start piecing things together soon. At least, I hope. I hope so too.
sorry.
Sorry, I hope I haven't been talking too much. Don't worry about it. You really love this sort of thing, don't you? It's fascinating. Do you believe there's such thing as the perfect crime? You mean a crime that can never be solved?
Yep.
Yep. I don't know, it feels like it's not possible to be that perfect. Something would have to go wrong somewhere. That's the common wisdom, and personally, I've always felt that even complicated crimes like these, she waves her hand at the bulletin boards, will be solved eventually. There's no such thing as a perfect crime. Then again, it would be interesting if there was. I swear to God, if Fawn is the killer again... You're talking suspicious, Fawn. I really want to have a nice time with you, Fawn, but the way you're talking, I don't like it. Watch yourself. Before I can say anything in response, my phone rings. I get out my phone and check the number. Oh, it's Edwin. Something important? It's Edwin. Do you mind if I take it? Be my guest. I won't even say embarrassing things in the background. Cross my heart. I wasn't even worrying about that until she denied it. I shake my head and answer.
What are you doing?
Adrian? Where are you? I got your message that you had to leave, but you didn't exactly give a lot of details. Sorry for not sticking around. I wasn't sure how long you were going to be, and it was getting late. Sure, I get it. I didn't expect it to take that long
How
either.
about it?
So where are you now? I thought maybe we could hang out. I went to your apartment to visit, but there was no one there, so I guess you went out somewhere. I'm with Fawn.
What?
Fawn? That detective?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to talking and she wanted to tell me more about the kinds of things she looks for her blog. It's pretty interesting stuff. Sounds like you spent a lot of time together today. I checked the clock on Fawn's computer. It hasn't really been that long. Still, it's rare for you to hang out with someone you've only met recently. Guess you two really hit it off. We're getting along at least. Fawn gives me a huge thumbs up. I don't know how much of the conversation she can hear, but she seems to at least agree with my side of it.
See you tomorrow.
See you in class.
Bye.
See you. I hang up and slip my phone back into my pocket. Was that our mysterious suspect himself? If you mean Edwin, yes. It bothers you that a friend of yours is the suspect, doesn't it? I gave her an incredulous look. Of course it does. How would you feel if a close friend of yours was suspected of murder? I'd get to work right away trying to prove them wrong. She points at
Don't
me.
be stupid.
Not that I'm suggesting you do anything like that. It's alright for detectives, but not for civilians. When the witness decides to go investigating herself, that's when the real trouble starts. Don't worry, I know this isn't a drama. Good. She hops to her feet.
Oops.
I almost forgot. Do you want some cookies? Chocolate chip? I baked them this morning before I went to work. I knew I smelled cookies.
Yeah.
Sure, I'd love some. Great. Fawn heads through another door, and I look around at the bulletin boards while waiting. It's easy to imagine her sitting here, typing away at her blog. Soon she returns with a plate full of cookies. She holds it out to me, and I accept one. Fitting for the season, right? I like having something to snack on while I work on my blog. I take a bite. It's great, thank you.
No problemo.
Don't mention it. I always bake way too many for myself, and Nick's give me a funny look if I bring cookies into work. I can imagine it. Anyway, I don't know if you checked out my blog or not, but do you want to see what it looks like from my end? Sure. Fawn sits down at her computer, and I watch over her shoulder at the screen as she brings up a blogging site and logs in to Fawning for Crime. Several new comments are waiting for her to look at them. She waves her hand at a list of posts. These posts I've already drafted. They're not queued yet because I need to look them over and decide what order I want to discuss these things in. She clicks one and opens the draft post. I always include some images to break things up. Figuring out how to best arrange things on the page to be pleasing to the eye is part of the experience too. Now you're speaking my language. Oh? Marketing major. Studying how companies arrange space on their websites to attract attention and keep users engaged is a big point.
Really?
Well, what do you know? Looks like we have something in common. Maybe what we do was more alike than I thought. Maybe so. I watch as Fawn checks the comments on her latest post and types out a reply. So why are you allowed to do this anyway? I didn't think a detective blog about case details, especially when you include things about evidence and information from police reports. Some of the old cases are public knowledge. For the rest, it's fine as long as I change the names and don't reveal anything classified. There are some restrictions I have to follow, but I'm more or less free to operate within those limits. Do your readers know?
Yep.
The idea of getting insight from an actual detective is one of the big draws of my blog. There are always a few who accuse me of this or that to make it out to be a conflict of interest, but for the most part I do alright. Still, it does mean there's a limit on what I can cover, which is why I've been branching out. Oh right, you said you started to cover mysteries? Yep, conspiracy theories, supernatural phenomena, things like that. Like Bigfoot? You're on the right track, although I try to steer clear of anything that's too mainstream. That's the sort of thing we're looking into. Mysterious events, unexplained happenings, I take the same sort of approach to it as I do with cold cases. Do they have their own bulletin boards?
Nah.
Not yet, since I'm just getting started, but I'll have a new bulletin board set up soon enough. She nods towards one of the few empty bulletin boards on the wall. That one will be all filled up before you know it. What's your first case? Local paranormal sightings. Wait, really?
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, I avoid anything too mainstream. Everyone's done those topics to death already. But exploring mysterious incidents a bit closer to home, that's the sort of thing I can build an audience for. Are you telling me there's actually ghost stories about this place?
Really?
You didn't know? Those are just nonsense. Strange noises heard in the catacombs, lights seen above the cemetery, etc. But there are a handful that might have more to them. I didn't even know this area had ghost stories like that. Fawn reaches down to open a desk drawer and pulls out a small notebook. She flips through it until she finds the piece she's looking for. I've taken some preliminary notes so far. Reports of unexplained lights, strange noises. Nothing has really ever surfaced to provide a logical explanation. I'll be breaking down every piece on my blog starting this week. Do you think your readers will be okay with the switch? After all, if I went to a blog to read about true crime stories, I don't know how I'd feel about the blogger developing an interest in ghosts. Yet, Fawn waves her hand dismissively. I might lose some, but plenty will stick around. It's not like I'm shifting topics completely either. At worst, some will only come on the cold case days. And at best, it'll end up taking up so much that I'll need a second blog. She certainly is excited about all of this. I can tell she loves it. We talk for a while longer, eating cookies and looking over notes she's taken for her next blog post until I glance at the window and realize the sun is going down. Oh, it's later than I thought. I should get going so I'm not out while it's dark. Want an escort?
Thank you.
No, I'll be fine. Thank you anyway, though.
No problemo.
No problem. Thanks for coming by. I had a lot of fun talking to you. We should do it again sometime.
Bye.
We will. Swear to God, Fawn, if you're the killer again. As I start down the street, I realize it's even later than I thought. Darn, maybe I should have accepted Fawn's offer after all. But I don't want to head back now and tell her I changed my mind. I'll have to manage without her. Let's just walk home. Fawn's place isn't too far from my apartment building, so it'll require me to walk a couple blocks to get there. As long as I'm careful, everything should be fine. What are the chances of the culprit lurking around here anyway? Nevertheless, I start walking at a brisk pace to avoid staying out any longer than I have to. Streets are largely empty, but the occasional glimpse of another person helps reassure me that I'm not alone. At least all the streetlights are functioning here. Partway down the sidewalk, the back of my neck prickles. I turn around quickly, but there's no one in sight. Is someone watching me, or is it just my imagination? I walk a little faster. An uneasy feeling persists all the way back to my apartment. When the familiar building comes into view, I breathe a sigh of relief. Glad to be home at last, I head into the building. Inside, I settle down on the couch and turn on the TV, more for background noise than to actually watch anything. I'll have to do my homework and catch up on the classes I missed, but right now I want to relax. Today was a lot of fun. Fawn sure gets excited when she talks about her blogging. It's catching. Maybe next time I should invite her over here. My phone rings and I glance at it. I don't recognize the number. I should answer just in case it's someone from the police department.
Hello?
Hello? I hang up. Wrong number? I stare at the phone for a moment and then dial the number that was displayed. The phone number you have dialed cannot be reached at this time. Great, just perfect. I toss my phone to the other side of the couch and lean back with a groan. It's probably nothing to worry about. On a regular day, I wouldn't give it a second thought. Now I can't get it out of my head. They did call my cell phone, so they can't be checking to see if I'm home. All the same, something about it feels unsettling. Like the call was meant to get under my skin. Whoever the killer is, they're still after me, aren't they? That was different. I'm not so sure the phone's the killer because that was different than anything we've ever seen. Maybe, for once, we have someone else. When I arrive at class next morning, Edwin turns to face me, but Riley speaks up first before he can say a thing. Hey, Adrian, what's going on? This guy's been in a funny mood ever since last night. He called me up and talked my ear off. Something about you running out on him with a cop? Edwin puts his head in his hands. Riley, you have a big... What? After all that complaining, you didn't expect me to ask Adrian for her side of the story? Just forget it. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. You spent so much time talking to me that I couldn't study. Probably failed the quiz today because you took up all my time complaining about Adrian, and now you claim it wasn't even important. Oh, sure, because you would have spent the whole evening studying otherwise. You can't prove I wouldn't have. No, but I can look at past trends and predict your actions accordingly. That sounds more like a line from a homework assignment than something you'd say to a friend. Mind saying that again, but like a normal person this time? Sure, if you want. All semester long, you've acted like every quiz and exam was personally out to get you. I've never seen you voluntarily open a textbook outside of study sessions. Experimenting with programs is the only type of schoolwork you ever do on your own time. I think I like it better when you're talking about past trends and predictions. Like, can you deny it? He's got you there, Riley. Fine, gang up on me. I see how it is. Looks like we need another study session, huh? That's the only way to get you to actually study. Which it is, as we know from experience, and even then it's a struggle. Despite my teasing, I let out a quiet sigh of relief. Thanks, Riley. Whether he did it intentionally or not, he certainly got the attention away from the conflict between me and Edwin and cleared the air. Things feel normal between us once again. Now you guys are just picking on me. Fine, just for that, I'll get more done at this study session than anyone else. I'll believe it when I see it. I'd actually put money against it, and I'm not a gambling man. A study session does sound like a good idea, though. All our classes seem to be ramping up the homework lately. How about Saturday?
Yeah.
Sure, I think I can rearrange things for that.
Yeah.
Me too. Alright, everyone, class is about to begin. Put away your books, and I'll pass out the quiz. At least I got a little studying in. All the same, when the quiz arrives on my desk, I struggle to concentrate. I stare down at the blank page and invite to focus on the subject matter. Come on, Adrian, imagine how it'll look if you tease Riley, only to bomb this quiz yourself. That's enough motivation to get my thoughts back on track, but it remains a struggle to get through to the end. Man, what's with me today? I've got to stay focused. As soon as I finish the quiz, I went outside to get some fresh air. I exhale slowly and look up at the sky. It's a cold, wintry day. Is the case still getting to me? Is that what's making it so hard to focus? Or I give myself a shake and head back for the building. My next class is about to begin. Without a quiz to force me to concentrate, though, it's even worse. The professor's voice fades to a dull drone in the background as I stare at the notebook in front of me without writing a thing. This is so boring. It must be nice to be someone like FAWN. She seems to love her job as a detective, and she throws herself into blogging with just as much enthusiasm. That level of devotion must take a considerable amount of work. My thoughts drift to everything I saw yesterday, from the pinned notes on the bulletin boards to her cute blog posts to the way she prepares for each one. I wonder if she's been blogging today already. With a quick glance up to make sure the professor isn't paying too much attention to me, I get out my phone and bring up FAWNING for crime. No new posts have appeared since yesterday, but I scroll through the posts that are already there instead. She seems to follow a consistent posting schedule with new posts 3 times a week. Some only have a few comments, but others have a ton. I tap one and scroll down to the comments section. Several readers thank her for her work, while others provide their own insight and theories into the case she was discussing. I check a viewer post and see similar conversations, as well as many usernames that crop up over and over again. Wow, FAWN really does have quite a following. These people must love her work. Curious, I go back to the most recent post and start reading it. It's written in a style reminiscent of how FAWN described things to me yesterday, professional with clear attention to precise facts, yet conversational and relaxed at the same time. I can almost imagine that FAWN is talking as I read her words. Beyond that, she has a way of presenting facts and mysteries that draw me in until I find myself invested in wanting to know the truth behind the case. It's a flair for dramatic like that of a creative writer, yet without deviating from the professional presentation. No wonder so many people read her blog. For anyone who loves cold cases and true crime, this would be a treasure trove. Curious, I keep looking around. Her About the Author page is bright and cheerful, with FAWN Sanders written in large text above, a description talking about her work as a police detective and her interest in exploring unsolved cases. She even ends with a disclaimer explaining how she can't use real names or reveal anything classified, along with a few details about the process she uses to make case details safe for the blog. Now that's a level of transparency I didn't expect. Readers probably appreciate that. Her contact page is also very inviting, as well as a subscription page inviting readers to sign up for updates whenever she posts something new. Here, subscribe. I consider it for a moment, then enter my email into the subscribe box and hit the button. It'll be nice to get regular updates and see what she's writing about. Even so, talking to FAWN in person is a different matter. I lift my head enough long enough to catch the basics of what the professor is saying and take a few half-hearted notes, and then I turn my attention back to my phone and send Fawn a quick email. Hi Fawn, I had a great time hanging out yesterday. Would you like to meet up again sometime? I send the email and hope for the best. Then I drag my attention back to class for a few minutes until a notification pops up on my screen with a response. Makes sense that she'd be the type to respond quickly. She probably spends a lot of time on the computer and monitoring her blog. Sure, how about Friday? My heart leaps. She must have had a good time or she wouldn't want to meet up again this soon. I send back a response saying Friday afternoon for my class should work fine, and then put my phone away. While my thoughts are still far from what the professor is droning about, I catch myself smiling randomly throughout the rest of the class. Phew, I'm glad that's over. If I'm going to pass this semester, I need to get my mind back on classes instead of being on FAWN. That's the long and short of it. No matter how embarrassing it is, I can't claim my current distraction is because of the case. Today I was completely distracted thinking about FAWN and her blog.
Oh.
Get a grip, Adrian. Distracted, I nearly run into someone and draw back just in time. Sorry. No, it's my fault. I wasn't watching where I was going. Sorry about that. It's her. We look at each other for a moment with an awkward tension between us, then I laugh and rub the back of my neck. Nah, this is seriously all on me. I've been distracted all day. Oh, well, if you say so, I won't argue. She tilts her head. Huh, they seem different than the last time we met. Different? Happier. Did something happen? Although she's a bit hesitant, she seems more open than usual. We're both in a similar situation after all. Maybe she's hoping to reach out to me as a friend. The thought isn't a bad one. Actually, I recently met someone and she's been on my mind a lot, that's all. She must be very nice. A hint of humor creeps into Natasha's voice and I find myself smiling. She is. She's a detective I met because of my involvement in the case, but yesterday she was telling me about all sorts of cold case stuff that she explores on her blog. It's amazing the way she digs into old details searching for things everyone else missed. Wait, you don't mean... She seems taken aback. Eyes wide. Are you talking about Fawn from Fawning for Crime?
Yeah.
What? Yes. How did you know? When you said she's a detective with a blog about cold cases, I thought there was a good chance. She shakes her head. You're lucky you're so outgoing. Outgoing? I don't know if I'd say that. More than me, at least. I've been reading Fawn's blog for ages now, but when I realized who she was at the station, I didn't have the guts to say anything to her about it. You should have. I bet she'd be delighted to meet one of her fans. Maybe someday, you know, when I'm not under investigation. Yeah. Right. Our situations are similar, but not identical. It must be awkward for Natasha to deal with Fawn under the current circumstances. Still, she's very nice, so I think she'd be happy to talk to you.
Thanks. I
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Her blog posts are always so detailed, I'm in awe whenever I read them. She has a great way of explaining things too. No matter how technical it is, I feel like I always understand. Yeah, I was impressed too. I don't like reading about the creepy serial killer stuff though. Some of the cases she writes about would keep me up all night if I read them. What about the new topics she's branching out into? You mean the supernatural stuff? That's interesting. I don't believe in ghosts, but it might be fun to read what she comes up with. She shrugs. At least I'll give it a try.
Now, if she ever starts writing about cryptids, then I'll be there day one.
Cryptids?
You know, like Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster. Those are some of the most famous ones.
Well, who knows? Maybe someday she'll decide to branch out even further and do a cryptid investigation.
That would be amazing.
We chat a little longer and then we each head on our way. That was a good conversation. It's nice to know other people like Fawn's work. Maybe we could all hang out together sometime. Once my class is in, I head straight home without waiting for Edwin or anyone else. I have a feeling I wouldn't be very good company today if I tried, and it'll only make things awkward between us again. The street outside the apartment building is near empty by the time I get home. Even though it's not dark out yet, it still sends a prickle of unease through me. What's this, the opposite of rush hour? It looks like I picked the wrong time to walk home today. The hair on the back of my neck prickles. I glance over my shoulder and look up and down the street, but I don't see anything. I turn back to the building and resume walking, but the strange sensation persists. It's like someone was watching me. Just my imagination, right? My skin crawls and I look around again. There's no one in sight, but I can't shake the sense that I'm being watched. I've heard it's possible to sense these things, subconsciously picking up on tiny clues. Sometimes it's nothing, your brain warning you of imagined danger just in case. Other times it's real. I hurry to the entrance of the building, looking back from time to time, but although I never spot anyone, the feeling persists until I get inside. Interesting. Inside, I check the time. He was supposed to stop by around 6, but I have plenty of time. I should probably do my homework. Okay, get the whole assignment done and you can check Fawn's block again to see what some of her older posts are like. At least that I found a means to motivate myself, even if I feel a bit silly bargaining in my own head. I settle down and start the assignment. Once I force myself to focus, it's not too hard to concentrate after all. Time passes and I finally write the final line. Done. I doubt I'll be winning any awards with this, but it should be enough for a passing grade. I reach for my laptop to check out Fawn's blog on a larger screen, but just as I finish typing in the address, someone knocked. Huh? It's still too early to be Kim. Who could that be? Oh, God. Unease prickles me and I approach the door cautiously. Who is it?
Hello.
Detective Singh. Oh, I check through the people just to be sure and then open the door.
Hey!
I didn't expect you to stop by, Detective Singh. I intended to call you, but then I thought it would be good to come out here myself and check the situation with my own eyes. Seems like things are pretty quiet around here, that's good. Yes, well, it might be nothing, but I thought I was being watched earlier. Watched? He narrows his eyes. When was this? About an hour ago, when I walked home from campus, just as I reached the building and walked towards the door, it seemed like someone was watching me. I couldn't tell where they were, though. I'll have the officers in the area conduct a sweep in case they find anything.
Thank you.
It's probably nothing, but we can't be too careful. Has there been any progress on the case?
Unfortunately.
Not as such. Oh. Have patience. I'm going over the evidence in detail looking for anything we missed. If the answers are there, I'll find them. In the meantime, though, you need to be careful. I have been. You just spoke about walking home alone. Well,
Listen to me carefully.
your life is in danger, Adrian. You shouldn't trust anyone right now. One of the suspects is someone close to you, but you can't afford to lower your guard. I wince. This probably isn't a good time to start an argument about Edwin's innocence. Instead of saying what's on my mind, I nod. Right, I understand.
Thank you.
Good. I'll check out the area like we discussed and get back to the investigation. Report to me immediately if anything happens. I will. He leaves and I lean back against the wall and rub my head. I wish they'd find the killer soon so this could just come to an end. The visit leaves me with only a short amount of time before Kim is set to arrive. With nothing else to do, I sit down and scroll through Fawn's blog while I wait. She's covered all sorts of cases, even more than I realized. Some of these look way more complicated than my case, too. Driven partly by morbid curiosity, I start to read through one of the more complicated ones until there's a knock at the door. That must be Kim. I get up, check the people again. It wouldn't be good to lose my caution now, and then let them in.
Good evening. Glad to see you're looking better than the last time we spoke.
Is it that obvious?
You're smiling, for one.
He enters the apartment and closes the door after him. His gaze goes towards my open
I hope
laptop.
I'm not interrupting your homework.
Oh, don't worry about that. I was just reading a blog while I waited for you to get here.
That's good to know. Anything interesting?
Yes, it's FAWN's blog. You know, from down at the station.
The detective, Fawn Sanders? I knew she wrote a blog, although I haven't looked into it myself. She covers cold cases, correct?
Yes, and now she's branching out into other mysteries to experiment with different topics.
We sit down on the couch together and he gets out his notepad. He makes a note. Wait, has you already started? I thought we were just chatting casually.
I wasn't aware that you were interested in true crime.
I wasn't until I met Fawn. So she opened your eyes to a whole new world, or he pauses and gives me an almost sly
Why
look.
do you think that is?
Is it more that you would be interested in it specifically because it's her blog, regardless of what the topic was? I look away, ears burning with embarrassment. No beating around the bush tonight, he just cut straight to the point. Tim chuckles quietly. There's no need to be embarrassed. People have been doing that sort of thing since, well, probably since the dawn of time. Everyone wants to impress the person they're interested in. Well, let's get back to the topic. We're diving deep into personal territory I'm not ready to talk about yet. All right.
So, what's going on?
So aside from your newfound taste in blogs, has anything changed since our last session?
No.
No, not really. You appear to be in much better spirits, as I mentioned earlier. Yes, the memory of the attack has started to fade now that more time has passed. It's funny, at first I thought there was no way this would ever happen, but it started already. For those first few days, it was constantly on my mind, but now I've been thinking about other things more often, like FAWN. I decided to keep that final part to
This is
myself.
natural.
That's natural. A memory will always be most vivid in the immediate aftermath. If it's already started to fade, that's a good sign. You're still taking precautions for your safety, I assume. Yes, as much as possible. Good.
What do you think?
How do you feel about the overall situation? Pretty good right now. One of my best friends is a top suspect in the case, so that added a bit more stress, but I'm not as worried about that now. You're confident your friend is innocent then? More like I'm confident the police will find the right answer. Now that's an interesting sentiment to hear in this day and age, especially from someone embroiled in an unsolved case. He writes something else on his notepad and gives me a quizzical look.
No?
What sparked this sudden faith in the police force? I guess it's because I met FAWN, Detective Sanders, that is. Isn't Detective Singh in charge of the case? Yes, and I'm glad for that too. He seems very good at his job, but there's something about FAWN that makes me feel so at ease. It's actually as a way of assuring me everything will be alright, even without addressing the point directly. You're quite fond of her, aren't you? Well,
Not
yes.
necessarily.
There's nothing wrong with that. Just don't let your feelings of comfort make you forget that the murderer is still at large. You shouldn't lower your guard just yet. I won't. Fawn would never let me hear the end of it. Very good. If that's the motivation you need, so much the better. Well then, is there anything else we should talk about in particular? I open my mouth to say no, but something Fawn said to me yesterday flashes through my mind. Do you believe it's possible for there to be a perfect crime? Meaning a crime that leaves behind no evidence so the criminal gets away and is never caught? Yeah. No, I do not.
Huh?
What, really? You didn't even have to think about it. I believe that even in those cold cases the detective blogs about, there was evidence or something else that might have given the killer away. Coincidence or oversights left them unsolved, not the crime itself being perfect. Isn't that functionally the same thing? Can you truly call it perfection if it only succeeded due to luck? Good point.
Why do you think that is?
Why do you ask? Oh, it's just something Vaughn said to me, so it was on my
I see.
mind. I see. With the sort of cases she blogs about, it's not surprising she would think about such things. The idea of a perfect crime must be one of the questions at the heart of her work. She really seems fascinated by the idea. Hopefully not in a way that becomes an obsession. An obsession? Vaughn is pretty enthusiastic about things like that, but I don't think I get so far as to call it an obsession. That's good to hear. There's nothing wrong with having hobbies. I'm sorry. We were supposed to be talking about me, but somehow we ended up analyzing Fawn.
It's quite alright.
It's fine. That in itself is enlightening. Write something down with a slight smirk that makes me narrow my eyes. Exactly what are you writing over there? Nothing that won't remain confidential, I promise. I can just imagine. Subject appears calm, much more concerned about her crush on a detective involved in the case than about the case itself, easily distracted. We discussed a few more things related to my overall mental health, but Kim generally seems pleased with my progress. Nevertheless, we agreed to meet for another session in 2 days earlier in the day since it's the weekend. After he leaves, I make sure the door is locked and then take a deep breath. Man, I really need to get a grip. Even while talking to him, I couldn't help myself from rambling about Fawn. I look at her blog, still open on the screen. She's analyzed so many different crimes. Whenever I read one of her posts, her personality all but leaps off the screen, too. I scroll down to the bottom of one of the posts to see how she interacts with readers. She's eager to talk to everyone about these subjects. Maybe I shouldn't read into too much about how she's excited to tell me about them. I debate sending her an email, but decide against it. I don't want to come on too strong. With that in mind, I close my laptop and start getting ready for bed. At least I'll see FAWN tomorrow. What does she think of me, though? Despite my best efforts, I find myself overanalyzing everything she says since we started talking regularly, as if the truth of her feelings might come out if I just examine our conversations long enough. I finally drift off into dreams, in which I have one of FAWN's bulletin boards covered in details of our interactions, searching for patterns and connections like it's a case to crack. Day 5, Friday. We're gonna save. Oh crap, no! The hell? Yes. Okay. My phone wakes me up in the morning.
Oh.
Ugh, I'm coming, just hang on. Fumbling under my breath, I roll out of bed and grab my ringing phone. It's
Hello?
Drew, blah 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 blah. We've already talked to Drew. Class has passed by in a blur today. Part of that feeling comes from legitimately being let out early. With the winter festival planned for tonight, no one is in the mood for classes, and the professors can tell they don't have an attentive audience. But for me, I have something entirely different on my mind. I'm supposed to meet with FAWN after my classes today. I wonder where she'll want to go. We could spend time at her apartment again, but maybe she wants to do something different. Wait a minute. What about the winter festival here on campus tonight? FAWN didn't say anything about it, but she's the kind of person I can see enjoying a festival. Maybe she'd be interested. I can't stop thinking about our upcoming meeting to focus on anything else. When my final class of the day ends, I grab my books and start to leave. Hey, Adrian.
Huh?
Oh. I turn to see Edwin starting to follow me. Sorry, I hope you weren't trying to get my attention for a while there. I was a little distracted. Nah, I just wanted to catch you before you left. What's up?
How about it?
Do you want to go to the winter festival with me tonight? Oh, my heart sinks. I should have expected this.
No.
I'm sorry, but I have plans
What
tonight.
are you doing?
Plans? What sort of plans? I'm meeting someone after class. Who? Why does that matter? Because I'm your friend and I want to make sure you aren't putting yourself in danger. After all, you're in a dangerous situation right now. Don't worry, I'm not going to meet anyone dangerous. Who is it then? A friend. He narrows his eyes and studies me with a suspicious look. It's FAWN, isn't it? The detective. I choose to say nothing. You. He trails off and shakes his head. No, never mind. You're trying to politely tell me you don't want to go with me to the festival tonight no matter what I suggest. I wince. I wouldn't quite describe it like that. It's fine. I get it. Have fun with whatever you end up doing. Thanks. An awkward silence falls over us. Well, I should be going.
Bye.
Have fun at the festival. I escape before this conversation can get any more uncomfortable than it is already. I head home to drop off my books. On my way there, I send FAWN an email asking where she'd like to meet up, and she responds suggesting a nearby cafe. Not a bad choice. That's a nice little place to hang out. Once I get inside, I agree to meet her there in just a few minutes. Then I set down my books and make sure I have everything I need. I understand where Edwin is coming from with his concerns, but this is about as safe as it gets. I'm going to meet with a detective, and a pretty nice one at that. With all she knows about crime, she's probably one of the safest people to be around right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if she could even predict when a criminal might act and take steps to avoid it. The thought makes me pause for a moment. Man, FAWN sure knows an awful lot about crime. Most people would think twice about seeking refuge with someone so knowledgeable about criminal mindsets. I guess I'm not most people. What am I thinking? FAWN is one of the detectives on the case. I shake my head to clear away those thoughts. Edwin's paranoia must be getting to me. I take a deep breath to compose myself and let it out slowly. There's no reason to get myself worked up about things right now. Besides, I have enough on my mind as it is, like trying to figure out what it means to be meeting up with FAWN like this. Does she just want a captive audience? Does she think we could be friends? Or tonight might give me a few answers on that front. With my thoughts reasonably clear once more, I gather up my things and head out the door. FAWN is waiting at the cafe when I arrive. She sits at a table by herself, taking notes in a small notebook while a laptop sits open alongside it. Occasionally, she types something instead. She lifts her head at the sound of the door and waves to me. I hurry over and sit down across from her. Sorry to keep you waiting. Nah, I was just making some notes for my next blog post anyways. If you always have a way to fill your unused time, you never have to worry about waiting for people. Life lessons from FAWN. Life lesson or not, I wouldn't make the attitude too well known or people might take advantage of it. Try that and I'll just start scheduling things accordingly.
Huh?
What do you mean? Suppose you fall into a habit of arriving 15 minutes late. If I want to meet up with you at 5, I just ask you to meet me at 4:45. Clever. Gotta figure out my best way to work with what you have. That's why I get along with Nick when most people in the office don't. I wonder what he'd think if he heard you say that. He'd probably just shake his head and go back to working on the case. Now, we're at a cafe, so I hope you don't think we're going to sit around not eating. That defeats the entire purpose of being at a cafe. Got any recommendations? Try the cappuccino. They've got the perfect blend here. All right, I'll give it a go. I ordered cappuccino as suggested. Fawn, to my surprise, orders hot chocolate instead. I thought you recommended the cappuccino.
Yep.
I do. Not for me, though. I'd rather have hot chocolate. Actually, I'm not the biggest cappuccino fan, but I thought it would be perfect for you. You really know me well enough to recommend drinks for me? Ask that question again once you try the cappuccino. I shake my head in disbelief and decide to also pick up a bagel. Fawn gets a sugary pastry for herself and we sit down at our table to enjoy them. I take a sip of the cappuccino. It's sweet with a light flavor that makes everything about it stand out more. The taste lingers on my tongue in a pleasant way. Hey, this is good. I knew it would be to your taste. Alright, so you got one right. That doesn't mean you'll get it right next time. We'll see. She meets my gaze with a smile, my heart flutters. Despite my teasing, I like the idea of Fawn knowing me well enough to be able to predict things like this. And we just implied we'll be meeting up again too. I take a bite of my bagel to disguise how flustered I feel. So, any important developments since the last time we met? Anything strange happen? Did Detective Singh tell you about yesterday? What? No, what happened? I was on my way back to my apartment when I felt like someone was watching me. I didn't see anyone, but I reported it to him when he stopped by yesterday. Darn Nick, not giving me important updates like this. I'll have to talk to him about that. I mean, it was pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. Maybe he didn't think it warranted for a personal report. Well, he should know that I want to know the particulars about this case, no matter how small the details are. She stirs her hot chocolate with a disgruntled frown. Does she want the tiny details because this case is like a puzzle for her to crack, or because it involves me? That goes for you too. Even if something seems minor and insignificant, I want to know about it. I wonder if I should tell her about how Edwin has been acting lately. It's not exactly the sort of thing she was asking about, but it is something unusual that happened lately. Ooh. Yeah, why not? Oh, I probably should mention that Edwin has been acting a little jealous about the two of
Really?
us. Edwin? Jealous of us? The look on her face is so curious I find myself blushing. I wave my hands to explain. Not that there's any reason for him to be jealous. He just gets strange about these things sometimes, and he's made a few comments. I mean, it's probably because I didn't wait at the station for him, but... Wait, what are you doing? While I was explaining, Fauna opened her notebook to a new page and started taking notes. Just writing this down in case it becomes important. Somehow I think you and Dr. Kim would be best friends. Oh sure, we get along. But anyway, what do you mean important? Jealousy can be a powerful motive.
What are you talking about?
Wait, you're not suggesting Edwin might be the culprit, are you?
Theoretically.
He's a suspect and his behavior towards you lines up with a potential motive. It's worth keeping in mind. I need to examine this case from every possible angle after all. Still, I rarely jump to conclusions. I analyze everything thoroughly and consider every possibility. Okay. Sorry, Edwin. I hope this doesn't cause more trouble for you. I take a long drink of my cappuccino, savoring the flavor. By the way, I've been meaning to ask, do you have any relatives in the area? God damn it. Oh my god, it's Fawn. I swear to God. This is the question that she asked both times she was the killer. I think it's her again. Oh my god. Why?
Huh?
Do you think that's connected to the case somehow?
This is just a theory, but...
Who can say, but by now you should have an understanding of how I operate. While detectives like Nick focus on details that seem relevant to the case, I cast a wider net and examine everything. The most insignificant, seemingly unrelated details can turn out to present a pattern that would otherwise have gone undetected. I see. Well, I don't have any relatives in this immediate area since I traveled here for school, but my hometown isn't too far away. Good to know. Alright, now it's my turn to ask questions. I swear. I'm like, there's been a few differences though, so I'm confused. But she asked that question both times she was the killer. But like, there's also been a few different, like slightly different situations. I don't know. I'm very suspicious of her. Let's just see how it goes. My turn to ask questions. Oh? She grins and folds her hands in front of her. What would you like to know? Any updates on the case that I should know about? Any leads, progress, even a hint that you might be on the right track? You know, the rules on my blog still apply. I can't release any classified details. Actually, forget regulations. This is the sort of situation that's extremely dangerous in general. Suppose I told you something about the police's latest lead, and you let it slip to someone you trusted, but they actually turned out to be involved in the case. I do happen to know both of the main suspects, so I suppose that's not an entirely random concern. I don't want you to tell me anything that could disrupt the case, just give me an idea of whether or not I should have hope. You should always have hope. Something a little more specific, please. I'm going crazy not knowing how long this might last. All I can really say is that we have a suspicious lack of leads. Can a lack of leads be suspicious? Of course. By now you should know how I view these things. Everything is important, even a lack of evidence. You don't think this is the perfect crime? No, the culprit has made a mistake somewhere. It just hasn't turned up yet. I can't tell if she's saying that to make me feel better or if she really does think she can learn something from not having any evidence. Now that's enough business talk. I'm sure the last thing you want is to spend today talking about the case. I heard there's some sort of festival on campus tonight. That's right, the Winter Festival. Are you going to it? Oh, well, would you be interested in going to it with me? I ask in a rush and then concentrate on eating my bagel to look less like I'm fidgeting while waiting. To my surprise, Fawn blushes. I hadn't planned on going. That is, I thought I might stop in eventually to see if there's anything tasty for sale. I've done that in the past, but I was going to spend most of this evening working on the new mystery. You mean for your blog?
Yep.
That's right. Is this one a murder case or one of the paranormal cases you've been branching out into? As we talk, she regains her composure. That's the question, isn't it? Sorry, I don't know what you mean by that. She laughs and takes the final bite of her pastry. This is delicious, by the way. You should try it next time you're here. Anyway, if you really want an answer to your question, you'll need to know a bit more about the mystery I'm pursuing. Here to head back to my apartment, we can take a look at the whole thing there. My heart leaps. On the other hand, if you'd prefer going to the Winter Festival together instead, no, I'd be delighted to learn about the mystery, and even more delighted to hear she would have accepted my invitation to the festival. Fawn closes her laptop and stands up. Let's get going then. Fawn's apartment looks the same as it did the other day, but with one significant change. The empty bulletin board she indicated would be used for her newest blog topic is now full of details. Wow, she made a lot of progress in such a short amount of time. As the door closes behind us, she waves her hand dramatically towards the bulletin board in question. Behold, the fruits of my labor. So that's everything about the new mystery you've been working on? You said you were looking into local paranormal incidents, right?
Yep.
Yes, in this case, a haunted house. It sounds so outlandish compared to our usual topics that my lips twitch into a smile before I can stop myself. You laugh, but this is serious business. Sorry, I'll take it seriously. Saying haunted house makes it sound like something from a movie or carnival, but it seems like Fawn is approaching this as seriously as she does anything else. It just sounded like, you know, a story that we made up to scare kids, not a real paranormal incident.
Really?
Really? You believe in ghosts then?
Yeah.
I think there's unexplained phenomena in this world that can't be explained by logic alone. There certainly have been mysterious incidents that aren't easy to explain, especially when you look around the world. When I decided to branch out into this area, I made a list of potential incidents that might be good to explore, those that have no easy explanations. For example, there's an old town called East Hollow that's supposedly cursed. A cursed town?
Yep.
Yep. But is it really a curse or is there a logical explanation? Someday I'll break it all down and look at every angle. There's a haunted theater troupe I'd like to get an interview with too. Haunted theater troupe? But for now, we're starting closer to home with a local haunted house that I think does have a logical answer.
What are you talking about?
Sorry, you're losing me. I shake my head. You're focusing on cases with no logical explanation, but the one you're focusing on first has a logical
This
explanation?
is just a theory, but
Yes, you see, I think it's linked to an unsolved murder. What? There's an old abandoned house not far from here. Even though no one has lived there in years, neighbors reported seeing strange lights and hearing screams. The facts line up with a cold case from around the same time. While she talks, she beckons me over to her computer and starts it up. So, I think if you solve one, you might solve the other. But wouldn't the police have looked into that already? Yes, and they found nothing. There were no tangible connections between the two either, but I still think it's worth pursuing, especially since they might have dismissed some aspects of the initial reports. This theory gives me the perfect lead-in too. She brings up her website and shows me the drafted blog post ready to go out next. It describes the basics of the haunted house case, referencing the fact that she brought it up once as a part of the cold case in question. I see. So you actually mentioned this incident in passing once before, and now you're going to explore it in depth, also tying it back to the previous case.
yep.
Yep, on one hand, it's just like I'm pursuing another angle of that case like I always do. On the other hand, I'm entering into the paranormal to see how my audience reacts to such a switch. If it's a success, I can continue on from there. If not, this was just an angle of a murder case. Brilliant, right? It's definitely a good idea. Of course, I have you to thank for that.
Huh?
What? Me?
Yep.
Yes, obviously. You're the one who started asking questions about how my readers would feel if I switched to a different topic all of a sudden. That made me think I should ease into it more gently. But you made it sound like you thought everything through and had it all worked out. That's certainly how I felt at the time, but once I thought about things more thoroughly, I realized you had a point. Even I can admit when I might be making a mistake, and I need someone around to help me figure out when that might be. She straightens up from her computer and punches my arm lightly. I need you, Adrian.
Oops.
Wait, I mean as a partner. Wait, I mean as... It's fine, I know what you mean. Somehow her attempts to correct herself make it more awkward than if she just left it be. I never seen her get so flustered before. Despite a light blush coloring her cheek, she clears her throat and continues with even more bravado than before. Two of us just might make an unstoppable team. Thanks. I try to smooth over the awkwardness as if it didn't occur, even though it's on my mind. I don't think I'm anywhere near your level when it comes to this sort of thing, but I'm glad I could help. It must be the marketing major coming through. Ah, right, you said you were studying marketing. My phone buzzes with a text notification, so I take it out of my pocket and glance at the screen. Edwin, where are you? I went to your apartment, but you're not there. I didn't see you at the Winter Festival either. Where did you go tonight? A headache begins to throb behind my eyes. Okay. It's either FAWN or it's Edwin. That's my theory right now. It's either FAWN or it's Edwin. And FAWN's kind of always suspicious. A headache begins to throb behind my eyes. Maybe he just cares a little too much, but this is the sort of thing that could drive a person crazy. Something wrong? You're giving your phone a rather disappointed look. Oh, sorry. It's just something personal. Don't worry about it. I see. I look at the messages. Could I piss him off and ignore them? Dude, if it's him though, he might kill me if I ignore him. I think I can die. Huh. I don't know. If he's listen, if it's not FAWN, then it's Edwin. If I don't respond to the text, he's probably gonna kill me. That's my logic. But if I respond and say, hey, I'm with FAWN, he might get jealous and kill me. So, I guess I should respond. Let's be nice. I sent a quick message in return. I'm with a friend. Don't worry, I'm fine.
Sorry.
If you need to leave... Oh, no, it's nothing that serious. Just a friend asking about me. Now, where were we? She taps her chin for a moment, then snaps her fingers. I believe we were discussing how your knowledge of marketing will make us an unstoppable team. Oh, yes, you did say that. I think you're just flattering me, but I'll accept it. I'm glad my marketing knowledge can come in handy.
So,
How did you get into marketing anyway? It just sort of happened. I needed to major in something, and when I took a couple marketing classes, the material clicked with me. Marketing was something I did well at and could pursue a career in, so I went for it.
interesting.
Nothing wrong with that. In fact, it might be the better option than being someone who pursues a grand lifelong dream without knowing if they can ever make it work. I don't know. When I see how devoted you are to your work, I wish I had something like that. You seem like you're always so excited to dig into each aspect of a case, whether it's for your blog or as part of your job. When I do marketing projects for class, I know what to do and how to accomplish it, but it's not like it especially excites me. The most exciting part is knowing I'll get a good grade. Everyone has passions. I'm sure you'll find yours.
Yeah.
I hope so. Going to this line of work was a natural choice for me, though I can't imagine doing anything else. Did you always want to be a detective? Well, I was fascinated by unsolved crimes, even as a kid. I was in 5th grade when I heard about a cold case. I couldn't believe there was actually a crime that had gone unsolved forever. Up until then, I'd imagined a fantasy world where the cops always caught the bad guys. Turns out things aren't so simple. From that day on, I started reading about every cold case I could. I can see how that would lead to an interest in detective work. You wanted to get in there and make sure to solve crimes no one else could solve.
Yep.
Exactly. Plus, I was fascinated by criminal psychology. Oh? Especially murderers, trying to understand the psychology that drives someone to kill another person. That's been one of my goals for a long time. I took so many criminal psychology courses, I could recite half of it from memory. That's why I always include that angle in my analysis.
Theoretically.
Outward motivations are fine, and you can often solve a case with that alone, but I want to dig deeper and really understand what murderers are thinking. Dr. Kim might have some insights. Who better ask about psychology than a psychologist, right?
Yep.
Yes, he does. We don't talk often, but we've had a few interesting conversations about psychology. He has a unique perspective thanks to his line of work. Do you two get along well? Well enough, I'd say. Dude, she disappeared. Where the hell did she go? He seemed happy enough to answer my questions. He expresses his concerns that Fawn's interest in the perfect crime could become an obsession if she let it go too far. I wonder if he feels differently about her interest in criminal psychology. Adrian? Sorry, I got lost in thought. I was talking to Dr. Kim yesterday, and he mentioned I'd be spending time with you. He seemed interested. Ah, that's only professional interest. Maybe. Did you know Dr. Kim before this case?
No.
No, I started seeing him this week because of what happened. Honestly, I don't know what to make of him half the time. But the people you can't read are the most interesting ones, aren't they? Well, there's something to be said for that, yes. As we talk, my gaze drifts to the corner of Fawn's computer screen, and the clock displayed there is already past 6. Oh, I didn't realize it had gotten so late. Time flies when you're having fun and discussing important paranormal research topics. Very true. I should be getting back home now, though. Need a ride? I glance out the window.
No.
It's not dark yet. I should be fine. All right, if you're sure. But if anything happens, you can always use the old call someone on your phone so you aren't completely alone routine. And by someone, I mean me. Let me get you my phone number.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'll give you mine so you know it's me. We trade phone numbers, and I try not to get too distracted by the fact that I just got her phone number. Remember, call if anything suspicious happens. I'll do that. Thanks.
No problemo.
Don't mention it.
Oh, and Adrian?
Yes?
It's my turn now. Thanks.
Uh-huh. Why are you thanking me?
You listen to me ramble on and on about my blog. The paranormal, criminal psychology, everything. I appreciate it.
Hey, I listen because I'm interested.
I appreciate that even more.
She laughs, but there's a soft, wistful look on her face I've never seen
A
before.
lot of people don't understand it. They find it creepy that I'm fascinated by things like that. Or say I'm obsessed.
I mean, Fawn, considering that out of the 4 times I've played this game, you've been the killer at least twice. Yeah, I do find you a little creepy. Even Kim suggested as much.
I have my blog readers, of course, but that's not the same as someone I can sit down and talk to as a friend. Talking to you is really refreshing.
She glances away and continues in a quiet mumble.
And I like spending time with you. A lot. So, thanks.
I blush. I didn't realize my company meant so much to her.
I'm glad we met, Fawn.
Me too.
I make it back to my apartment without issue. Part of me is almost disappointed. It would have been nice to have an excuse to call Fawn on the phone. Then again, I'm glad nothing happened to make me feel like I was in danger. Besides, judging by what she said there at the end, I don't think she'd begrudge me a random phone call just to chat. The thought makes me smile. I get out my phone and check Fawn's number to make sure I'll remember, even though I don't intend to call just yet. In the meantime, I see that Edwin sent me more messages while she and I were talking. Okay. Just call if you need anything. My earlier irritation at his messages fades away. I guess he really was just looking out for me. It's getting late, so I turn on the TV to pass a little time relaxing. Thanks to the weekend, I don't have to finish up my homework right away, so I can take this time for myself. I'm glad I could spend time with Fawn tonight, much better than going to the Winter Festival. When I'm finally ready to sleep, I fall into a peaceful, dreamless rest, undisturbed by worries for a change. I'm calling it right now. It's either Fawn or Edwin. I feel like it's Edwin, though. I swear to God, if it's Fawn again, I'm gonna be mad. Okay, I wake up late in the morning and stare up the ceiling instead of getting out of bed. It's hard to believe it's been less than a week since my life was upended. Let's see. Kim should be by later this morning, and we've got a study session this afternoon. Can't forget to go to that. I wonder if Fawn will want to hang out again, too. She's probably merely working on a blog post as we speak. I never thought getting mixed up in a murder case would have a positive side, but Fawn and I wouldn't have met without this case. I doubt I stumbled across her blog accidentally either, and even if I did, we wouldn't have a personal connection. Her words from last night ran through my mind. Fawn seems like she's the sort of upbeat person who gets along with anyone, but I wonder if she's had trouble forming more meaningful connections. Talking about crime all the time probably bothers some people. She's so enthusiastic about everything, and once you get her talking, it can be a lot to take too. But I like it. She clearly cares about her work. Fawn has become the great mystery occupying my mind these days, and it's reaching the point where I can't chalk up my feelings to friendship alone. Only question is, how does she feel about me? My ceiling holds no answers. With a sigh, I get out of bed and start getting ready for the day. After a quick breakfast, I get started on my homework. Blah, 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 blah. Homework. Blah, blah, blah. Homework. That's how I feel when I do homework sometimes. Finally, it's time for Kim to arrive. I check to make sure it's him and then let him in.
Hey!
Thanks for coming by earlier
It's quite
today.
all right.
It's no problem. I'm sure someone your age has a full slate of weekend plans already. I laugh. Not quite. I've got a study session this afternoon, but after that, the rest of my weekend is open. And you'd like to keep it that way, I assume. I'll try not to take too much of your time. He follows me in and we sit down on the couch together.
So, what's going on?
How have you been since the last time we talked? I'm doing all right. Your name came up in a conversation yesterday. Oh? Fawn and I were talking about criminal psychology. She's especially interested in figuring out what drives people to murder. She uses psychology as a factor when trying to solve cases. Ah, yes, she occasionally stopped me to get my thoughts on that as well. Right, she mentioned that. Our conversations are quite interesting. Sometimes I think she should have pursued a degree in psychology instead of me. What, you think she's better at it than you are? Or at least more devoted. Then again, perhaps I shouldn't say that to a patient. He laughs. I'm perfectly devoted to my work and my patients, but she pursues everything with such an intense dedication that most people can't match. You're right about that. Maybe all 3 of us should get together to talk about psychology someday.
Oh?
Has Fawn pulled you into assisting her with her blog? maybe. I gave a suggestion that she says will help out with her blog, even though I was just saying what came to mind. It sounds as though you've grown quite close to Fawn. I hope so. It's hard to tell how she feels about me, but I think we're at least friends. Now, on both of my recent visits, your burgeoning relationship with Fawn has been the top thing on your mind. You keep in mind that you're still in a serious situation and need to pay attention to your safety. I'd never forget something like that. But when you think about it, I'm probably safe as spending time with Fawn. Yes, you said something similar the other day, something about how seeing the way Fawn works has made you more optimistic that the case will be resolved. Right. Even someone as talented as Fawn can't solve every case, though. Her deductions are rooted firmly in logic. She wants to see an established series of rational links between events so that she can find the truth. Meanwhile, crime is often irrational. Do you suspect an irrational motive? I don't know. After all, I'm only involved in this investigation in a very tangential way. But the fact that the police are taking so long to narrow down the suspects and find the culprit does make me wonder if the train of logic being used isn't enough. If the motive is something that can't be readily deduced. That's where Fawn excels, though. Perhaps, but she can overlook things. Don't worry, I won't fully relax until the whole case is solved. But, Fawn strikes me as the sort of person who might get so wrapped up in analyzing a mystery that she forgets there are real people involved.
Huh?
Really? I've had the opposite impression of her. Perhaps I'm wrong then. We've only had a handful of conversations.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, getting back to the purpose of my visit, Kim and I spend a little while longer talking about my feelings, about the case, and the precautions I'm taking. He seems more concerned about my physical safety right now than my mental health, which I assume is a sign of improvement. I do feel much better than I did at the start of the week. After scheduling another meeting for next week, Kim leaves and I start gathering up what I need for the study session. The conversation with Kim lingers in my thoughts. Somehow it feels more thought-provoking than usual, even though our conversation covered less ground. Could there really be something so irrational about this case that working through it the way Fawn normally does won't lead to answers? Then again, Kim isn't a detective. He might just be cautioning me about the worst-case scenario. Setting aside these concerns for now, I glance at the time and then get ready to go. To have Edwin kill me. Because I made him jealous. When I get to the library lounge for our study session, Edwin and Riley are already there. You should have called me. I'd given you a ride. I do you too. I sit across from them and Riley gives me an apologetic shrug. I don't know if he's still sore about what happened the other day or if he's just feeling overprotective, but he's been grumbling about you the entire time. If you didn't get 1,000 text messages, you have me to thank. You didn't have to tell her about that. In spite of myself, I smile. It's broad daylight and there are people walking around. I figured it was safe enough for me to come myself. I still would have been happy to help. I know. Of course, you have other friends to rely on now, don't you? Don't make it sound like a competition. Something I should know about? An awkward sound settles over the table as Edwin and I look at each other. The door opens again and Clara joins us. She looks around the lounge. Am I earlier or is it just us today?
No.
It's just us. We thought it would help us out more if we had a study session focused on our material so we can really get into it. Plus, the tension between these two is at peak today. It's not that serious. Uh-oh, what did I miss?
Seriously?
Edwin's been getting on my case about not taking precautions even though I've been perfectly careful, thank you very much. Oh, well, he's just worried about you. We all are. I know. Alright, let's get back on track or we'll never get any studying done today. Since when are you so on the ball about studying? Since I saw my grade for the last quiz we took, that's when. Alright, let's get started. Like before, we split up the chapters between us so that we can compile our notes and go over everything together. I managed to stay focused on my section and take notes that should cover everything through nice, succinct summaries. I wonder if this is how Fawn feels when she has a big chunk of information that she combs over for the most critical details for her readers. Since my chapter is finished, I get out my phone and visit Fawn's blog. The new post is up and it covers the basic of the haunted house case. Like we discussed, she's tying it back to the cold case she covered on the blog once before. Her post outlines the case with a clear, concise summary that links back to her earlier post and shifts into outlining the paranormal side. Nice. That's such a smooth transition. I'd imagine people who came just for crime aspect would at least keep reading her post until the end. After Vaughn outlines the details of the case and the supposed supernatural phenomena, she explains her next steps and how she'll explore each aspect of the haunted house in subsequent posts. She ends by saying that she intends to conduct her own investigation of the scene. That's definitely a draw. A detective conducts her own paranormal investigation to learn the truth about a haunted house.
What are you doing?
Earth Adrian, are you still with us?
Huh?
Huh? I lift my hand and find the other three staring at me. Sorry, what? We were just about to go over our notes. What were you looking at on your phone? You looked engrossed by it. Oh, just a blog post about a local house that's supposedly haunted. Edwin's eyebrows lift. I didn't know you were interested in that sort of thing. If you like, I can tell you about the haunted catacombs we got on campus. This is more of a friend's interest than my own. Maybe she'd be interested in hearing about the catacombs sometime, though. A friend, huh? Anyway, let's start sharing these notes. To avoid further questioning about Fawn, I dive right into work, although I can sense Edwin's curious gaze on me for quite a while. Once the study session ends, I head out of the library before the previous conversation can resume. Once I have a better idea of where Fawn and I stand, maybe I'll be more open to questions about her. Oh. On our way past the other direction, Natasha pauses.
Adrian, hey.
You were right, you know.
Huh?
Huh? I read the latest blog post on Fawning for Crime, and even though it's about supernatural stuff, I actually found it pretty interesting.
Hey!
Oh, she's reading that too. Do you think she's really going to visit the haunted house in person to check it out? I doubt she'd have written that if she wasn't serious. It's creepy to think that house might tie into a murder investigation, but still, when I read her post, well, I got a lot more into it than I expected. It was nice to have a distraction. Tell me about it.
I'll see you around.
I need to get going now. I just wanted to tell you I had read the post.
Talk to you later!
See you around. I'm so sad I didn't get a kissing with Natasha. I arrived back at my apartment with a couple of hours left before the sun goes down. What should I do with the rest of my Saturday? I start fixing myself some dinner and sit down to eat. Partway through, my phone rings. I glance at the screen and see Fawn's number. My heart skips a beat and I immediately set down my fork to pick up the phone.
Hello?
Hey there.
Hey Adrian, how would you feel about adding part-time paranormal investigator to your list of credentials? What? You know, the haunted house I told you about, the one I'll be investigating for my blog? Yes, I even read your post about it. Nice, then you should know exactly what this is about. I'm planning to head down there tonight to see what I can uncover, and I was hoping you'd go with me. You want me to go with you? Yes, it's not like an official investigation, and it'll be fun to have you along. Well, come on, you get to see my work in action. You can enjoy my company, and I'll bring cookies. I laugh in spite of myself. Resorting to bribery now. What can I say? I'd really love for you to come with me. All the things I should do to stay safe until the police finish up their investigation, heading to a supposedly haunted house late at night is probably not among them. On the other hand, I'll be with Fawn, so it's not like I'd be alone. Please. That decides it. Fawn wants me to go with her. This isn't a situation where she could go with anyone and she just happened to choose me. She specifically wants me to go with her. How can I refuse?
Yeah!
Alright, I'm in. Just let me know when you want to meet. Ooh, creepy. Well, here we are. This looks pretty much what I expected, yeah. We look up at the house together. Fawn met me at my apartment, and then we came here to begin the investigation. The house in front of us is sizable, large enough to be described as grand, if not for its serious state of disrepair. It looks as much like the stereotypical haunted house as I'd ever thought I'd see in person. Grass and plants grow high around the house, its shutters hang askew, the paint is peeling, and it generally looks like it's one inspection away from being condemned as unsafe for the public.
Seriously?
Are you sure it's safe to go in there?
Yep.
Don't worry, we're good. Technically, we'd be trespassing if we strolled in without permission, even though the house is unoccupied, so I got all the necessary permissions ahead of time. That includes being cleared for safety. That's good to know. I did have a slight concern that being a detective, she might have just checked off any permissions she needed herself without getting official authorization. Fawn pulls out her phone and taps something on the screen. Her fingers fly rapidly across it. From time to time, she glances up at the house again, then returns to typing. Important messages? Close. Important notes. What? Well, it would be awesome if I could simply look around and memorize everything I see to write about later. I take notes on a hands-on investigation like this to make sure I don't forget anything. I want to capture everything I feel and all my initial impressions to sort through later without losing any minor details along the way. Right, that makes sense. She lifts her phone again and takes a few pictures of the house's exterior and front yard. Think those pictures will show any signs of ghosts when you check them? I doubt it, but I'll be sure to take a look. I nod toward the small bag she brought with her. And I'm guessing that's full of paranormal investigation equipment?
Sure thing.
You got it. I might not be a believer, but I want to investigate this properly after all. So we'll be scanning for usual electromagnetic fluctuations, any temperature drops, and so on. What about a voice recorder to see if we pick up any spooky voices in the background? I wouldn't call myself an expert on paranormal investigations, but I've seen a handful of things.
Yep.
You really brought everything, huh? I see this first visit as a general sweep of the area to get an idea of what we're dealing with. That means we want to start out broad and narrow our focus from there. For our second trip, we can pick one aspect to investigate more thoroughly and focus on that. Already signing me up for a second investigation? She meets my gaze with an almost shy smile. Here's hoping you'll enjoy yourself enough tonight that I won't have to do much persuading to get you to come back with me. I hope so. Keep my voice steady, but my thoughts race. Is this a date? That kind of sounded like something you'd say on a date. Investigating a supposedly haunted house to see if it's related to an unsolved murder isn't exactly a traditional date, but then again, it's about what I'd expect from a major date with Fawn. Fawn fiddles with her phone a little longer, then pockets it and nods. All right, let's go inside. We start down the sidewalk towards the door. Once we're there, she pulls out an old set of keys out of her pocket. Picked up the keys from where they were stored from the prior investigation. If the house has been empty for a while, I'm surprised it hasn't been broken into. It probably has from time to time, although the front door still looks fine. We'll need to check out the back door and all the windows to get a better idea of what we're dealing with. We reach the doorstep and she inserts the key into the lock. But first, let's take a look around. This is creepy as hell. Much like the outside, the interior of the house is grand in scope, but too dilapidated to be beautiful. Cobwebs, dust, cracks in the walls. I'd normally be impressed by what appears to be a sizable foyer, but the rest does nothing for my impressions. It still looks like it should be condemned. It's nowhere near that bad.
Huh?
Don't tell me you'd want to live here.
Nah.
No, but I can see someone else living here, perhaps even using it as a base of operations. It wouldn't be impossible, even in its current state. She gets out her phone again and takes more notes as she looks around. When you say base of operations, do you mean during that old case you think it might be linked to? Exactly. What sort of case is it anyway? Your blog said it was a murder case, but I didn't read the older posts to learn anything beyond that. I see someone didn't want to do the necessary research ahead of time. Despite her chiding tone, she smiles to show it's in good fun. Maybe I wanted to hear straight from you in person. After all, that's much nicer than reading all about it by myself. Oh? You seem slightly flustered. Well, when you put it like that, I can hardly blame you. So then, what was the case like?
So?
It was a combination murder-kidnapping. A young woman vanished with no trace of her whereabouts. The police searched for days but couldn't get any leads. About a week later, her body was discovered not far from here.
I can't believe this.
It's horrible. She'd been in prison for most of the week before being killed. That's all we know for sure. The police investigating the case never found out who murdered her, nor even where she was held during her confinement. For that matter, we don't even know where the murder actually occurred. The body appeared to have been transported to the place where it was found.
This is just a theory, but...
Shortly after the discovery of the body, rumors of this house being haunted started to crop up.
Huh?
After, not during her disappearance? Right, that's one of the reasons it's hard to establish a clear link between the two. It started with a kid who tried to break into the spooky old house on a dare. He claimed he ran away after hearing strange noises from inside. That could just be a kid's overactive imagination. Of course, but the neighbors started to report things too, mysterious lights in the windows, strange noises, etc. When the police arrived to check for trespassers, the house was empty. Before long, people began spreading the story that it was the ghost of the murdered girl doomed to haunt this place until her killer was found. A shiver runs through me. Hearing her describe these terrible events here in this abandoned, dusty house makes them feel more real, like a ghost or a vengeful murderer might be lurking just around the corner. I step a little closer to Fawn. The police were concerned that the murderer was using this place as a hideout, but they scoured the place from top to bottom and found nothing. What do you think? I'm skeptical that the victim was confined here. It raises the question of why the haunting didn't occur before her death.
Nah.
No, I believe the killer took refuge here after the fact, and the hauntings were an attempt to scare people away while they destroyed evidence. But it brought the police straight to this place, indeed. But that only matters if the killer hadn't already bought all the time they needed. She waves her hand dismissively. Anyway, that's only one possible answer, which is why we need to investigate now. Where do we start? With this. She opens up her bag and pulls out a small gray box. I peer over her shoulder. A screen on the front displays a gauge, currently at the low end of the meter, with almost no fluctuations as she waves it around. No funny electromagnetic readings so far. Imagine if we really did find proof of a ghost.
Huh.
Now that would be frustrating.
What are you talking about?
Frustrating. Being on the cusp of solving a cold case only for our single lead to turn up something entirely different, we'd be farther away from the truth about the case than ever. True, but you'd have a whole new mystery to explore. Fair point. We walk around the foyer and I look around. If this house were repaired, it might actually be beautiful. I try to imagine how it must have looked before all this happened, before it was haunted, before an innocent girl was killed, and before the house was abandoned and left to fall into ruin. It must have been quite a sight. Still nothing on the electromagnetic readings. I don't see any unusual temperature fluctuations here either. Does that mean the house isn't haunted? It means the foyer isn't haunted. Probably. She takes a few pictures of the foyer anyway. Let's head deeper into the house. The living room looks like the perfect example of an abandoned room with cobwebs everywhere and thick layers of dust on all the furniture. Mom pauses, gaze fixed on the device in her hand.
Interesting.
Huh. What is it? I actually am getting an unusual electromagnetic reading here.
Huh?
Wait, really? That doesn't mean it's a ghost. It could have a perfectly natural cause. However, we're going to document everything properly, which means we need to check it out. Could you help me set up the equipment to monitor this area? Sure, just tell me what you need. We set up a device to record continual electromagnetic readings in the living room, and then she also gets out a machine to record audio. Hoping for ghostly voices? If we do pick something up, it would be very interesting. Next, she returns to taking photographs covering every inch of the room. Interesting, even though she doesn't believe there's an actual ghost here, she's taken the paranormal side of the investigation seriously. She doesn't leave anything to chance. That's probably the same attitude that makes her so good at finding clues in old cases. Fawn glances at me unexpectedly and blushes. Yes? What? You were staring. Oh, sorry. I don't mind. It's nice to be admired. Makes me feel beautiful. Well, you are. I blurt out the compliment before I can lose my nerve. Fawn's blush deepens, but she winks. You do remember every sound in this room is being recorded, don't you? Oh no, please don't use that clip in your blog post. I won't. I'll keep it for myself to play over and over when I need a little extra motivation. Well, that doesn't actually sound so bad. With the living room covered, we continue on. Have you noticed the layout of this house?
No.
Not really. Is there something unusual about it?
Theoretically.
Certain areas are segmented from one another. That would make it easier to keep an area cordoned off if you wanted to hide something. On the other hand, it might make a quick escape more difficult. She's clearly in detective mode now, trying to find any overlooked evidence for that old case. By the way, where's the basement? Not that I'm dying to explore the basement of a maybe haunted, maybe murder-side house, but I figured it would happen eventually. We've been here for a while though, and I haven't seen any basement stairs. Good point. I remember reading about the basement in the case file, so there definitely is one. The fact that we haven't found the entrance yet is interesting. I wonder if that's significant. Man, maybe I should have kept my mouth shut. I really don't want to end up in a dark basement tonight. Basement, basement, basement. Fortunately, although we do eventually find the basement stairs nearly hidden in an alcove set off from the kitchen, Fawn only takes furious notes and photographs before saying we should save it for the next time, since it's getting late. We gather up all the equipment so we can leave. This was an excellent first visit. I just hope I was of some help. You were.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. I had a wonderful time, and I hope we'll be able to do it again sometime.
Yeah.
So do I. Sounds like how you'd end a date. She was talking like that before, too. I look at Fawn and notice she seems flustered. She avoids my gaze and drums her fingers against her back of equipment. I should just go for it. If I'm wrong, I can play it off as a joke. It might not have been typical, but it's the best first date I have ever been on. Fawn blushes. In that case, should we end with a kiss? Heart pounding, I step closer to Fawn. She closes the remaining distance between us and we kiss. It's a little awkward, with Fawn holding her bag of paranormal investigation equipment between us and the two of us standing in a dusty abandoned house. That doesn't stop my heart from racing. She shifts her back to the side to get out of the way, and I put my arms around her. This is quickly becoming an even better first date. Let's aim for the best, then. She kisses me again, and I close my eyes. How could a murder investigation lead to something so good? I don't know, but I can't argue with the results. I'm so happy that I met Fawn. There's still a murder case hanging over us, and a killer possibly hunting me, but right now I feel like I can face anything in the world. Why didn't I get to see the kiss? What? That's messed up. I got to see the other kisses, didn't I? I didn't get a kiss scene with Natasha. I know for sure I got a kiss scene with Edwin. I did get a kiss scene with Nick. So why can't I see the kiss scene with Fawn? This is messed up. When we separate, her cheeks are flushed. I'm sure mine are too. Shall we go then? I think we ended our date on a pretty good note. We smile at one another, then Fawn opens the front door. After you. It's darker out now, and the property looks even more eerie and ominous than it did before. I shiver. Should we... Adrian, get down.
Huh?
What? A shape moves in the darkness. Fawn reaches for her gun, but before she can grab it, the figure steps out into the open with a gun pointed straight at us. I freeze and lift my hands into the air, but pause partway when I see who it is. What the hell? Wait, Detective Singh? I start to lower my hands, but the gun jerks in my direction. Hands up. Don't try anything. What are you doing? That's how it is it? Unlike me, Fawn doesn't sound surprised as she lifts her hands into the air, only disappointed. I didn't want to believe the signs, Nick. I've always been able to analyze these things rationally because I wasn't personally involved. But when I started to see you as a possible suspect, I wanted to turn away. Possible suspect? You're not saying that Detective Singh, of all people, is a murderer? There were some odd things I'd noticed already, evidence that didn't seem quite right, reports that felt slightly off, and a few incidents that made me question Nick's motives. And now this. She nods towards him. Well, you don't ambush someone with a gun because you want a friendly chat. My vision tunnels. If that's true, then he's going to... The gun pointed at me feels far more real than it did a moment ago when I thought it might be a misunderstanding. He can kill those people at the pool, and he's planning to kill us now, too. Why? Why are you doing this?
It wasn't supposed to come to this. You've unintentionally made my life far more difficult than you know.
I didn't suspect him at all. What the hell? I thought it was Fawn or Edwin. So I've gotten Fawn twice, and I've gotten Nick twice. Oh my gosh. Me?
I'd intended to finish the job by framing whichever of the primary suspects you were closest to.
Oh shoot. My bad.
I never imagined you would start spending all of your free time with one of our own detectives instead.
That's kind of funny.
What can I say? I'm irresistible.
And exceptionally calm for someone with a gun pointed at her. I glanced at Fawn out of the corner of my eye. Despite her outwardly calm, even flippant attitude, I can see her mind working like she's trying to figure out a case. She must be trying to work a way out of this situation for us. You'd hardly be my first choice of who to frame, but I suppose I'd have to get rid of you anyway with how intent you've been on studying this case. I'll find a way to make it work. Calm way he says that makes my blood run cold. Hold on, why are you doing any of this at all? Why did you kill those people at the pool? Why target me now when I didn't even know anything? It's simple. When I solve this case, everyone will recognize my talent as a detective. Huh? Under other circumstances, I'd love to chat about your motives all night, but something tells me you don't intend for either of us to walk out of this alive. Exactly right. There are no witnesses around. By the time any arrive after hearing the shots, the scene will look the way I need it to look. He aims the gun at Fawn. Oh crap! What should I do? Reason with him, run and call for help. Running and calling for help sounds really fucking stupid. Dude, why would I run when he has a gun pointed at us? That sounds so stupid. Reason, let's save reason with him. Wait. You can't possibly think this is gonna work, can you?
What?
Excuse me? You're planning to kill the two of us and then stage the scene like Fawn killed me and was the killer all along? Exactly. The using your own gun. There's no motive. Well, they could have the same type of gun. I don't know. Let's go. But she has no motive. Motives can be invented easily enough. I'll say she wanted the adulation of solving a major crime, so she committed one herself to solve it. Like you're doing, you mean? She shakes her head.
Theoretically.
Motive needs to fit with the subject's psychology. If you introduce this theory that doesn't match any of my past behaviors, people will question it. And if you bring it up while people are praising you for solving the case, a few might just figure out the truth. He narrows his eyes. Oh, we got you there. Then I'll say studying all those cold cases finally got to you. At least we got him to hesitate for a moment there. Maybe he'll realize that he can't get away with this as easily as he thinks. I mean, there's still some glory in solving a case still.
No.
There's no such thing as a perfect crime.
What?
That's something Fawn told me time and time again. The reason she studies those cold cases is because she believes the truth will eventually be found in all of them.
Don't be stupid.
That's right, a criminal always leaves some trace behind. For example, I've currently thought up at least 3 different ways you might have implicated yourself already. You're lying. Are you supposed to be out on patrol right now? Do you think someone might notice your cars in this area? That will make it seem strange that you were so close yet couldn't save Adrian. Second, you're also banking on the fact that no witnesses saw you come here and no one will be close enough to make it after hearing the first gunshot. Third, and actually, I'm up to 5 right now if you'd like to hear. Enough. He glares at her. You think those things could be traced to me, but that's because you analyze things more closely than anyone. No one else will find these connections, only you. Well, the cause of death wouldn't really look suspicious. I don't think. The place of death would look suspicious.
What are
I think.
you talking about?
I hope I'm not making wrong decisions. I'm stressed out. Except the place of death will look suspicious.
What?
What? Fawn and I just went to an abandoned house. We were inside it together for hours. People know she was going there, and there's at least one person who could guess I went with her. If she's going to kill me and try to cover it up, why would she have waited until we were outside in the open? Killing me inside would make much more sense. Face it, Nick, you planned this out well, but it's not a flawless plan. People are going to see the cracks and start digging deeper. You don't know that. All the same, he hesitates. But if you're right, it will all have been for nothing. He slowly lowers his gun. Immediately, Fawn draws her own and points it at him.
Freeze.
Alright, Nick, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I have to place you under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Fawn is arresting Detective Singh. I still can't believe it. All this time, it was him. God, why can't I get a different killer?
Hey there.
Over here. Fawn waves to me from the other side of the cafe. I make my way through the cafe to her table and sit down across from her. Sorry I'm late.
Ah,
Nah, I'm just early. A few days have passed since Singh's arrest. The truth came out quickly after that. He killed those 4 people and intended to kill me as well in order to frame Fawn as the culprit. Fawn has her laptop open in front of her already. Blogging about the haunted house? Actually, I'm revisiting some of the cold cases I was never able to come up with solid theories about before.
Huh?
Really? Why? Did you hear Nick's motive? I know he wanted to solve the case himself. It goes deeper than that. He mentioned in his confession that he believed being recognized as a detective would allow him to investigate bigger crimes. In other words, he thought he could save lives by murdering a few innocent people first.
interesting.
It's fascinating. I was going to say crazy, but I suppose fascinating works. I never took that kind of mindset into account before. Now I wonder if any of these old cases could have similar motives behind them.
Seriously?
You don't think that sort of thing is common, do you? No, but if it happened once, it could happen to other times. She closes her laptop. But don't worry, I didn't invite you out on a date just for you to watch me type. I laughed. I enjoy hearing about your blog, though.
Really?
Oh, then maybe we should start planning out our next investigation.
Yeah.
Okay. As we talk, the weight lifts from my shoulders. This case has hung over me for an entire week, but now it's finally over. It only went on as long as it did because Singh was obscuring evidence. Now Fawn and I have all the time in the world to explore cases in our own relationship to see where the pieces lead. Okay. So I was really hoping that I was gonna get someone different. I mean, it's still really interesting, but I guess it's my own fault for randomly signing it. But I didn't suspect him at all. Um, but yeah, I was really hoping it was gonna be Edwin, or that maybe it was fun because I think it would be interesting to see like when I'm romancing the killer. But it was still interesting. I know I said I was gonna just like romance each of them and do random generation, but I'm interested. I don't know if anyone else is interested, but I'm interested in seeing how it'll turn out if I'm romancing the killer for each of their past. I think it would be so like interesting. So, because I'm sure there's some where like there's so many endings. I'm sure there's somewhere like I could die. Maybe I can convince them to give up. Maybe, you know, help them get away with it. I don't know. That seems a little out of character, but but yeah, I think it'd be so interesting. So I think that's what I want to try. I don't know if I'm gonna just do them all at once because I don't know how much difference there'll be in the stories, or if it's really just gonna be the endings that are different. But I am gonna be skipping anything that I've already read because it's a lot of reading. But I think that's what I'll do. But that was still really interesting, still really fun. I'm a little upset that I didn't get to see the like image for the kiss between me and Fawn, and I didn't even get a kiss scene for Natasha. So I'm like, look, I got this. I don't know if maybe like I have to get to like a peak romance with them. Maybe I didn't get enough like romance points or something. I just wasn't cool enough. But yeah, that is going to be it for this one. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one because I'm not done with this game yet.